Welcome to the 9th session of the online Permagarden Foundations course, Developing and Maintaining a Permagarden. Step 4, Monitor. In this session, we are going to look at the last step to developing and maintaining a permagarden, monitoring. In this step, we monitor our gardens to better understand where our permagarden activities are succeeding and where adjustments can be made. We will also see how this step is an opportunity to continue strengthening capacity among staff, partners, and households in implementing and adapting permagardens. By the end of this session, you will understand why and how to monitor permagarden activities, learn about one monitoring tool, the Permagarden checklist, and how it can be used in gardens, and finally, hear how to interpret the results of the checklist to improve your permagarden activities going forward.
Our garden is now in place. It will require regular watering, weeding, and pest control, like other gardens. Over time, plants will grow, and flowing water, such as the water from a heavy rainstorm, will leave its mark in the soil. We can learn a lot by observing a garden after it is established. By systematically visiting the gardens established through our project, we can assess if the gardens are likely to achieve their goals and, if not, what adjustments could put us back on track. Field-based monitoring involves carefully observing the garden and determining how plants are responding to its design. Systematically monitoring, or monitoring on a regular schedule to observe and record changes on specific points, helps us to pinpoint areas that are working well and areas that need improvement. We can use field-based monitoring to accomplish many goals. First, we can check the quality of the permagardens in our project. A project manager can use the Permagarden minimum standards to determine the quality of the gardens within the project area. Knowing this can help them understand why the garden did or did not achieve its intended goals. Second, we can track the progress of a garden project over time. Third, monitoring helps us to identify any issues that have arisen when scaling from a pilot to a larger project. Often, when we expand beyond the pilot stage, we encounter new challenges that make it difficult to maintain the quality we initially achieved. Perhaps we have less time to offer support to the households in our project, or perhaps our trainers are not as well trained. Monitoring helps us identify these challenges early so a plan can be put in place to overcome them. And fourth, monitoring reinforces staff, partner, and household capacity to design and manage permagardens. Since monitoring involves carefully checking all aspects of a permagarden, conducting a monitoring visit can reinforce core permagarden concepts and how to implement them. Pause for a moment to think about a time when you conducted a garden or agricultural project. Did you have a process to monitor the success of the project in the field? What were the goals of your monitoring process and did you achieve them? How could you have adapted your monitoring process to better identify if the project was meeting its objectives? Did your monitoring process help reinforce staff, partner, or household capacity in any way? If not, can you think of how it could have been redesigned to do so? Pause the video while you discuss your ideas with your colleagues or write them in your notebook. Monitoring can take many forms and can be used creatively to achieve multiple goals. For garden or agricultural projects, field-based monitoring can tell us valuable information about why and how participants are adopting or not adopting new agricultural techniques and if these techniques are improving productivity or restoring the environment in any way. This information can lead to valuable conversations between staff, partners, and participants on how to improve outcomes. One tool available for monitoring permagardens is called the Permagarden checklist. It was created by the USAID BHA-funded Scale Award and is found in the supplemental materials. The checklist helps project staff and community members assess 6 minimum standards of the Permagarden approach that are observable in the field and should be monitored frequently. Resources, design, water, soil health, biodiversity, and protection. The garden is assigned a score of either check minus, check, check plus, or star for each minimum standard, depending on the effectiveness and number of techniques that were found that satisfy that minimum standard. As we have seen in the course, Permagardens can be used in a wide variety of environments. For this reason, the checklist is designed to be easily adapted so that it can be tailored to the environmental conditions in your project area. Before starting to use it, pilot the checklist and adapt it so that it is relevant for your specific context. Once the checklist has been adapted, all staff who will be using the checklist need to be trained. It takes some practice to identify the various components of a permagarden, and a training gives staff a chance to use the checklist before they are asked to assess a household's garden. For project monitoring purposes, it is important that staff are consistent with how they rank gardens and that there is agreement about what to do when unexpected situations arise. The staff training is a good time to develop consensus on how garden attributes are scored. Because the Permagarden approach stresses the need to continuously adapt garden designs in response to environmental cues, the checklist is also designed to be a learning tool. Projects are encouraged to train both staff and participants to use the checklist. In this way, using the checklist becomes a collaborative process where staff and participants are learning and working together to find solutions for the problems that emerge. Staff can encourage participants to consistently use the checklist to help improve their gardens over time, contributing to the sustainability of the activities. In addition to using the checklist with project households, the checklist can be used as a resource to educate project partners, such as local officials, government staff, or extension workers. It can help inform them of the difference between a permagarden and other garden designs and support them in their own promotion of permagardens. After a monitoring visit, a garden will have a score, such as a check minus, check, or check plus or star for each minimum standard. These scores highlight where a household can invest time to improve the functionality of their garden. When the scores are aggregated across the program, the data tells the project manager where the permagarden activities are succeeding and where more support is needed. If a pattern emerges across the permagardens, the project manager can gather staff to reflect on why this is happening. These questions from the Permagarden Technical Checklist Guidance document, available in the supplemental materials, can help guide the conversation. 1. What major trends do we see? Are our permagardens generally progressing in a positive direction or negative direction? 2. What variations do we see between sites? Why might that be the case? 3. What weak spots do we see and how can we address those? 4. Where did we find innovation? How can we learn from those households? After this reflection, a project team might decide to offer further support to the trainers, project partners, or households in the form of another training. Or the team might decide to adapt one aspect of the Permagarden approach to make it more culturally or environmentally appropriate. These adaptations along the way can make a big difference in the overall success of the permagarden activities and create valuable moments for lessons learned.
We have now finished the Permagarden Foundations training course. In this course, we have seen how the Permagarden approach can build climate-resilient gardens by tapping into local knowledge, utilizing local resources, and prioritizing soil health, water storage, and increased biodiversity. The design process is an integral part of creating a permagarden. A well-designed permagarden can minimize the negative impacts of the sun, wind, and slope on plants and help make sure that their basic needs for nutrients, water, air, protection, and attention are met. The careful process of observation and planning used to design a permagarden makes it more likely that gardens will stay productive when in harsh conditions, making the Permagarden approach suitable for a variety of environments. During this course, we have also seen examples of what it looks like to facilitate a permagarden design process in a community and have explored how this process can help ensure the garden meets the needs and goals of a household. Finally, we have seen how the monitoring process can help ensure garden quality, track a project's progress, and be an important learning tool to strengthen the capacity of both staff and households. To learn more about using permagardens as a component of BHA-funded projects, Consult the Permagarden Resource Library on the FSN network.